Hey everyone, Ariel Adams with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. Hit the bell to be notified of our upcoming videos. This is a review of the Bulgari Aluminum. This is the new version of the Aluminum released in 2020, which is a recreation of a very popular collection of the Diagono aluminum watches, or Aluminum as it's called. And everyone keeps saying, like, what is the big deal of aluminum versus aluminium? Well, as people know, these are two ways of saying the exact same metal. And Bulgari, like I said, took out the Diagono part of the name, so I think they just find it quirky and kind of cool and kind of interesting to call it that. Aluminum is a metal that was once used a lot more heavily in wristwatches, but isn't used that much anymore now. Titanium has supplanted it, but as you can tell, probably pretty well, that aluminum has a very different light finishing. It can be coated properly, and it can also be injected molded, which you can't really say about most metals. So it's a very versatile metal, but it's just soft. And so to sort of react to that, this watch has vulcanized rubber sections like the strap and the bezel and the pushers here in order to protect the aluminum or aluminium, depending where you are, case. Just like the original, this is 40 millimeters wide, and Bulgari produces an automatic version, which is a three-hand, as well as this automatic chronograph, which uses an ETA 2894 automatic. So it's a nice thin chronograph movement that I think is really great. These watches were so popular, I remember in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, it really transcended beyond just watch lover to the mainstream. It was a very successful and popular mainstream luxury watch, and a lot of people over the years have asked why, as well as why Bulgari eventually took them out of the collection. I think this is very distinctive, but it's also something very familiar. I mean, there's a lot of interesting angles on here. So for example, this lug structure here is actually inspired by a door hinge. And I remember when Bulgari themselves told me that, I was like, oh yeah. And it was so clever how they were able to take something so pedestrian and make it luxury. And that's, I think, where some of the best Italian design comes from. It's a very simple dial, but has so much elegance to it. High contrast, easy to read, tasteful, universal. This watch really grows on you. I think when you just see this watch in a picture, maybe sometimes it looks a little bit retro or you're just not really sure what to make of it. I wouldn't say it competes with any other specific product out there, though I'd say some of the closest competitors would be more like casual wear, Cartier watch or something like that. That's definitely designer name. So it has that mainstreamness in sort of being a designer watch, but watch lovers can't help but admire the comfort, the style, the quality. I think they did a really great job with it. And I think one of the smartest things that Bulgari did is make them relatively affordable. So this is the chronograph version, it's a little bit more, but it starts at under $3,000 for the three-hand version. And the aluminium chronograph here is $4,250, which again, is not the cheapest thing, but for a Bulgari these days, it's a good value. It's a very handsome watch, and I think people will get a lot of utility out of it. That articulating bracelet is just the icing on the cake. You can see more about the Bulgari Aluminum Chronograph on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.